Calvin?
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Is it safe to say that this is one of your best performances of the preseason?
I was pleased with the way we played. I think played physical, I thought, throughout most of the night. I thought that goal line stand at the end was awesome. So excited for those guys. Some guys jumped out on that drive. Justin Barron was awesome. Elijah Clark did some good things. Again, you guys know, I've said it all along. Nothing changes. This is about evaluation. I thought we started really fast. I thought that was great to see. But again, the biggest thing for us is I think we had some guys show how much they want to be here, and they fought for it, and the film will tell us a little bit more tomorrow. But very competitive, very physical. Certainly things to clean up, like in any game, the penalties and things like that. But overall, I'm pleased with the performance and the fact that these guys got a victory.
Your thoughts on how Milton played this evening?
Yeah, I thought he did a nice job. I think, got off to a good start. He was having fun. He used his legs. That's something that you guys probably saw in the scrimmage over the last couple of days back in Frisco. He was using his legs a little bit more. That was great to see. Beautiful throw to JB on the go ball. And, he looked a lot more comfortable and settled tonight.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys. Can you give us an update on Jayden Blue? Number one, is he helped? And talk about his performance tonight.
Yeah, again, I think, we'll take a look at it. I don't think it's anything crazy. I don't think it's going to be anything too bad. Up and down, had some good runs. They were doing a nice job with some of the things that we got. We had a screen that was, I thought had a chance for some more, but you see the talent, you see the acceleration. Wish we could have got him a little bit more, but you're obviously going to be cautious in a situation like this in the last preseason game.
Toughness on the touchdown run, breaking the tackle, that's something he has in his bag.
Absolutely. It was great to see. I thought, we were, 3 for 3 in the red zone. They were, I think, 0 for 3. Kudos to the defense for getting that stop there late. But, yeah, he had a great touchdown run. Phil Maffa had a great touchdown run and with some great surge. I'm not going to say tush-push, but with some pushing.
Getting back to Milton, did you see enough where he's your backup?
Yeah, I think we'll get through these next couple of days, but I thought he played really, really well.
Brian Todd with ESPN. Micah today wasn't wearing his jersey. Everybody else was laying on the table in the middle of the game. Have you had a discussion with him at all of any of that stuff? Does that stuff matter to you?
Yeah, to answer the question, no. I was calling the game, so I don't know any of that stuff. But again, at the end of the day, we'll look at the film and we'll talk to everybody involved, and we'll have a great assessment of how we did both on and off the field.
That he will be on the field week 1 against the Eagles.
I do.
John Machota with The Athletic. Have you seen enough from Ozzie Smith to know that he's on this roster?
I think Mozzie played better tonight. I think, Mozzie's the first one. He talked a couple weeks ago about the consistency and wanting to be more consistent. He's a guy that flashes at times, John, and he does some really good things. I thought he had a couple really good rushes today from the inside 2 technique spot and things like that. But again, we've got a very competitive roster. We've got a very competitive D-line group. So that's why we got to go watch this film and take a look at all of it. I'm not being committal really on anybody. It's not just Mozzie. It's why I'm not going to do that. Don't have to do that. We got a couple days to figure this out. And but I thought there were some flashes tonight. Him playing in a 3rd preseason game shows that we wanted to see some things. And he was very comfortable with that, which is great.
And then 2 receivers in particular, Ryan Flanoy, Jalen Brooks. What did you like about them today?
Yeah, I thought Flo ran a couple really good routes. He had a hard inside leverage press corner on a slant that we hit on a 3rd down. I thought that was really, really good. Took a shot on another one, stayed up, got a few yards after the catch, and JB the go ball. He had a catch like that the other day in the first, I think it was Tuesday night at the Frisco practice in front of the fans, where he kind of laid out to go make a play, and it was great to see both those guys step up. And like we said, that's a very, very competitive room. So we'll go back and we'll talk through a lot of different things and kind of see where the dust settles.
Tommy Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com. You've preached physicality throughout the entire offseason. I know you weren't satisfied the first 2 games. Do you feel like your team was better there tonight?
I felt like that. Step forward, for sure. I think anytime you rush for, I think we rushed for 4-point-something yards per carry, and they got some yards on us late. We were playing a little bit soft. But yes, I thought we had 2 good practices, Tommy, on Wednesday, or Tuesday and Wednesday, that were very physical, and I thought we took a step in the right direction.
And then I know it's a preseason game, but nonetheless, your first win as an NFL head coach, how does it feel?
It doesn't faze me. I didn't want this one necessarily. I mean, I'll take it for the guys, but my eyes are already on Philadelphia.
Saad Yusuf, The Athletic. Brian, this preseason, how was it for you in terms of getting the head coaching reps that you were looking for throughout this?
I think it's important. I think you learn the flow, of how things go and kind of where to stand so you can stay involved with, potential challenges. I didn't lose a challenge tonight, so that's a good thing. So I'm still 0 for 2. I guess I'm saving mine for the regular season. I think the officials were, not wanting to have me challenge any, and they really didn't want to deal with that. So, and Raheem didn't either. So, but all in all, each game has been a little bit more comfortable. I won't lie. I mean, there's things I'm figuring out, the different patterns of when officials come up and talk to you, different timeouts and things like that. But I'm definitely finding my flow of how I can get the information I need as the play caller, but stay involved in what's going on with the defense and make the decisions I have to make. And again, I think that's the best thing for first-time head coaches is you work through some of the kinks in your communication, lines of communication. And I thought, I definitely got more comfortable with some of the ways that we communicate on game day.
What have you learned about how you have to moderate between your responsibilities as the offensive coach and play caller, and B, the defense and everything on that side of the ball as well?
Well, I think that's the job of the head coach, and I think the fact that we have a terrific offensive and defensive staff allows me to where I don't have to look and sit and stare at every different thing that goes on. I get great feedback from different people. I'm on the headset every time that they go over to defense, and constantly in communication with Flus and those guys. And again, it's multitasking, but it's what you do. And I think again, a lifetime in football definitely makes it a little bit easier for me. I've been on headsets really my entire life, going back to the days of holding my dad's headset, and wearing a headset at Florida for Coach Spurrier. But it's a cool thing to sit there and just hear the flow of the game. I was really, really proud of ourselves today with the takeaways. We really had 3. One got called back because we were, took our helmet off. We got to be better with that. There was a couple of discipline things that we'll address and talk about. And then, but the goal line stand counts as one. And then, of course, it's the first game we didn't turn it over. So I think, again, how does the score get the way it gets? It's because of, the ball.
Yeah.
Tim Kalishaw, Dallas Morning News. How comfortable are you with kind of the unknown of today's NFL, starters basically not playing, and then specifically the running game? How do you feel like you have a handle on what kind of running game you have with guys doing as little as they did?
Yeah, again, Tim, I think, a lot of it is the information is gathered through practice. We show a lot in practice. We don't show a lot in preseason. I've made reference to the 7-iron. It was a 7-iron and 8-iron tonight. But I do think that, we have a good identity of what we're going to be, and understand kind of with our players how the scheme fits what we're doing and how we're going to marry things up. That's a huge part of it, Tim, is how you marry your runs and your action passes and things like that. And I think we have a really good feel for that. But in today's day and age, you don't need to necessarily show things. And again, I've talked about it before. It's a philosophy. A lot of guys want to play their guys, and that's fine. But again, I'd like to be in a controlled environment going against our defense and having them go against us and not showing the world kind of who we're going to be.
Coach Sydney Staples, D210 Sports. How much is a player peaking here at the end of preseason? How much does that weigh on you and move the needle at all when you're making that initial 53-man roster?
It's part of it. I think you see trends with players all the time, especially young players, because they're learning, they're trying to figure things out in the beginning, then they're out in Oxnard and they're going through practice, and the pace is different and the pads come on and that gets a little bit different. But, this is a cumulative thing where we go back and from the minute they got here, I'm talking about young players and even new players. From the minute they got here, we've been evaluating them, and we've been evaluating them as players, as people, how they process information, how they handle information overload, how they take information from the meeting room to the field. And so the preseason is one of those tools that we use to evaluate, but we're not going to, look at tonight's game and say, okay, this has extra weight. It doesn't. We're going to go back and make the decisions based on, okay, let's go back to OTA 1. Let's go back to training camp practice 5. Let's go against the scrimmage against the Rams. And did this player continue to show out and show up and do things the right way? I think things got sloppy late. We need to look at that, because, again, you can't shoot yourselves in the foot and win in this league. You can't have the discipline penalties that we have, and we'll address those.
Noah?
Dallas. Coach, we caught up with your family before the game. Your mom specifically very proud of you. What does that mean to have her in attendance and kind of a full circle moment to be on the field today?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I think, hey, look, at the end of the day, I think she's proud of me no matter what. She was proud of me last week when we lost. She was proud of me the week before when we lost. She was proud of me when I got fired in Seattle. But look, I'm all about family, Noah, and I think my family is everything to me. I've talked to you guys about it before. To me, it's 3 things: my faith, my family, and football. And again, having them around and supporting me is something so special for me. And what makes it even better is she gets it. She's sat in stadiums for really over probably 50 years, and so she gets it. So she's a great sounding board, just like my wife is, and I'm blessed to have 2 people like my wife and my mom that I can talk to about not just football but life.
You ever get used to Brandon Aubrey?
It's kind of a weapon. When I said to Joe, hey, Joe, we basically need about 10 yards to get in the field goal range, and he was like, what? I was like, yeah. So no, you really don't. But it was great to get him that kick in the preseason. And, again, it was cool to come out in the second half and do the double dip, which we've talked about, where you execute the 2-minute drive, you get in the field goal range, you get the kick. And then we talked about at halftime that we got the ball first, and that was part of the plan. We thought we could start fast by deferring and putting the defense out there, and we did that. And then to be able to double dip in the second half was good to see.
Third down, were you thinking field goal at that point, or you were just trying to, I know you always think ahead in those situations.
Yeah, I think we got into a little bit of a longer situation. I don't remember it exactly, Calvin, but, at one point it was kind of more with the time and stuff. We were kind of playing for the field goal. And, I thought Joe did a nice job managing that and handling that. And we had a drop, I remember, on a slant. I think Trayshawn had a drop that, he'd love to have back, that we were trying to get up there and kind of clock it. But, again, I thought Joe did some really nice things tonight. I'm excited to watch the film, and we're tough graders when it comes to quarterbacks. But I thought he looked, like I said, way more comfortable tonight.
Sanders is healthy? Because I noticed he didn't.
Yeah, he got dinged up a little bit on his shoulder, but I think he's fine. Correct.
Brian, on blue, opening kickoff, he makes a tackle for a rookie running back who, I don't know how much special teams he played. Does that, he can run, do some things, but I think he had a good pass protection on that first drive as well. Is that the stuff that stands out more to you guys when you're thinking of how you're putting your roster together?
It's a great point. I mean, we know he can run. We've all seen him run. I think he's got some work to do on the kick return stuff. Almost got us a safety on that one. But, so, again, I screw stuff up all the time. So I think, he did. He came across on a blitz. They were in a little diamond front, and so he had to come across. Great job on the blitz pickup. Saw the tackle on special teams. So, when you see that stuff for a young player like that to do things he's never done, that gets you excited as a coach.
The end-of-half scenario, all calling the timeouts leading into that, and obviously having the timeout in your pocket to have the field open to you. Is that the stuff you're going back and forth with Peter on during that?
Yeah. I mean, Ryan Feeder, he does not get enough credit. He has obviously been doing it for a long time with Mike, and again, going back to Green Bay. But what I love about Feeder is, he's just so calm, and he's I get worked up a little bit on the sidelines. I'm an emotional guy. I like energy and juice, but he's got the ability, when I hear his very soft and subtle tone, it's very relaxing for me. So he does a great job. And, again, we talk about it all the time. I mean, we practice those things. And practice is supposed to make it perfect. It's not always perfect, but I do think that we took a positive step in that direction tonight.
No.
Hilton Henderson, Gilmer Mirror. Brian, We've already talked about all the good things that you did. You got a lot of tape to look at. Do you feel like the performances of some of these guys that were on the bubble tonight, this did more to help you make that decision, or does it just make it tougher with the cut down coming Tuesday?
I think it's going to be tough. I really do. I think it's going to be tough. Why? Because I think we're a talented roster, and we've got some really, well, I would say, very competitive position battles. And there's numbers, and when you're looking at a 53-man roster, you're like, man, okay, where are you going to fit these guys? And there were some guys that I thought stepped up tonight that made a great statement saying what they wanted to do. Elijah Clark's a guy that's missed some time, and he stepped up and did some great things tonight. So it's supposed to be hard, and it's supposed to be require very long conversations and hard conversations and back and forth. And this is why you don't hire yes men on your staff. You want people that'll be like, hey, I don't see it that way. Okay, well, why? And those are the same type of conversation we have with Will and Steven and Jerry, and then we make a decision that's in the best interest of the Cowboys.
Already.
One more, I'm sorry.
One more.
My
Almost got out of
apologies.
here.
I'm sorry. The plan for Booker was not to play tonight,
Correct.
and as you went on, you decided not to play Thomas tonight. That was also part of the plan, too?
Correct.
Okay, making sure.
Yep.
Thank you.
He did get taken out on one of the there was a gunner that got booked, but he's fine. So he did have contact tonight. Yeah, he had some contact tonight.